Hi, in this video I'm looking at compound interest. Now compound interest is where your investment has the interest calculated and then deposited into the account at regular periods. So say if we invested $1,000 at maybe 10% per annum, then every year or month or half year or daily even sometimes, you would have the interest calculated and then deposited into the account. So let's say we were doing it yearly. At the end of the year, we'd calculate the interest, and that would be for 10%, you'd have $100. And then that $100 would go back into the balance of your account. So you'd then have a balance of $1,100. And then at the end of the next year, they'd go and calculate the interest again, which in this time would be $110, and put that into your account. So you would have $1,210. And then at the end of the next year, they would work out the interest on that amount, $1,210, which would give you an interest of $121, and put that into your account. So you would have $1,331 in your account. And it would keep on going like this. Now, to calculate compound interest, you could do this every period, calculate it out and add it on and work it out. But it's easier to use the compound interest rule. Now, the compound interest rule tells you that at the end of your investment, your final amount is your principal that you put in multiplied by 1 plus your interest rate divided by how many compounding periods you're doing per year, all to the power of those compounding periods times how many years. So let's go over this in detail. So P is your principal. It is the amount that you put into the investment. So your starting amount. And then we have our rate, which is your percentage per year, of your interest percentage per year as a decimal. You got to remember the fact that that's going to be converted to a decimal. And then we have T. Now T is just how many years. And then there's this N in there, which is how many compounding periods per year. So it's how many compounding periods you have each year. The reason we have our N in there is that our rate is per year. It's always quoted as per annum. And if we are compounding more than once per year, so every month or every day or every 6 months, then we would end up giving more than 10% in this case per year. So we divide our rate by N in our rule to divide that percentage per year up into how many compounding periods we have. But then we need to also multiply the amount of years we have by that, because that would then give us how many compounding periods we have for the entire investment. So how many times we're going to do our calculation. And then at the end of this formula, we get our final amount. So that would actually be the final amount that we would have in that investment. So that would actually tell you at the end of, say, 10 years or 5 years, how much money you will have at the end of your investment. So if you then wanted to know how much you gained across that investment, you would then have to calculate what's known as the compound interest, which is your final amount minus your principal, which makes sense. If you want to know how much you gained, you subtract how much you started with from how much you finished with. And that's compound interest. You take your principal and times it by 1 plus your rate divided by how many times you're compounding per year, all to the power of your compounding periods per year times how many years, and that will give you how much money you'll have at the end of your investment.